In this video, I'm going to show you how to make sunflowers, and they are essentially just the same as making daisies. You want to roll out your gum paste to about 1/16 of an inch thick. That's using the pink spacer rings. Then you're going to take the largest daisy cutter in the Wilton Gum Paste Flowers cutter kit, and you're going to cut out 2 of the largest daisy shapes. Now again, this cutter can be a little bit tricky to get the gum paste to release, so I'm just using a veining tool and a ball tool to help the gum paste release from the cutter quickly. And I have sped up the video in the interest of saving time. Another trick is to turn the cutter over and kind of press the gum paste into the cutter from the back side, and then again use a tool so that none of the petals rip apart when you're getting the gum paste out of the cutter. You need 2 of these yellow daisy shapes for each sunflower. Once you have them all cut out, put them on the shaping foam. Use the ball tool to widen the petals, and you do this by going from the tip of the petal in towards the center. This is opposite from the daisy. When we made the daisy, when we were flattening the petals, we went from the center to the tip. With this one, you're going to go from the tip to the center with both the ball tool, and then you're going to come back around with the veining tool to make the vein down the middle by going from the petal tip into the center. And again, just like with the daisy, you're going to attach the 2 shapes together with some gum glue and try to make sure that the top petals go in between the bottom petals. And here I'm just going to do the same thing on the other one. Again, remember that for the sunflower, because we're going to widen the petals instead of lengthen them, we want to move the ball tool from the tip into the center. And notice that also gives them a nice little curve upwards. And then we add the vein by using the wider end of the Wilton veining tool and going from the tip, drawing a straight line into the center. Now that the petals are shaped and veined, I'm going to put this in the large flower former cup, and I'm going to do the same thing with the top layer of petals. Just to remind you, we're going to go from the tip of the petal in towards the center with the ball tool before coming back around and adding a vein to each petal with the veining tool by going from the tip of the petal into the center. The more you do this, the more you'll get a feel for how much pressure to apply so that you don't tear through the gum paste. And then just like with the other one, I'm going to add a small amount of gum glue, which is just some gum paste dissolved in water. I'm going to place the top petals on top of the bottom petals and then make sure that the top petals fall in between the bottom petals. And we're going to let that dry and set up in these former cups. To make the sunflower centers, I'm going to use some chocolate fondant, or you could use brown gum paste, and I'm going to use the larger of the flower center in the silicone mold there, and you just press it in and then pop it straight back out. And then I'm going to add some of this brown petal dust to give them a little bit more of a richer deep dark brown color, and this also helps to cover up the powdered sugar that I used to dust the inside of the mold so that the flower centers would release quickly. And of course I have sped up the video in the interest of saving time. Once I have the sunflower centers all done and dusted, I'm going to go back around and dust the sunflower petals with some goldenrod petal dust. This will help give them a more golden, richer yellow so that they look a little bit less lemony and a bit more sunflowery. Also, I have obviously sped up the video here just in the interest of saving time. This can be a little bit time consuming, I agree, but attention to detail is what makes a big difference in the final result. So, and you can also get creative with how you dust your gum paste flowers. It's definitely worth taking the time to do this, especially if it's for a really special occasion cake like a wedding or something like that. And there you saw, after I finished dusting the flower, I just took an empty squirt bottle and I used it to puff air on the flower, and that helped to get rid of any loose and excess petal dust. That's a lot more hygienic and a much better way to get rid of the excess petal dust than using your mouth to blow on it for, obvious reasons. You don't want to spread germs, especially if this is going to be a cake that you're doing for people to eat. So yeah, that's a handy trick that I learned in the Wilton classes, is just to take an empty squirt bottle and use it to blow air on the petals to get rid of any excess petal dust. And here's why I like to do my flower dusting on wax paper, because then when I'm done, I can just gather up the paper and pour the petal dust back into the container. And then once your petals and your centers are all dry and set up and you've got them dusted, just attach the sunflower centers to the sunflowers with a little gum glue, and there you have it.